And the first map will be played, as you guys can see, on Antigua Shipyard. Liquid Red is our red Zerg spawning on the red top side of this map, and Dignitas Select is our blue American Terran. Korean/American Terran spawning on the left bottom side of this map. Select is, I believe, 4-3 in the season, and that is correct. Red is 5-2. Both of these guys will most likely, well, if Select loses 0-2, there might be a weird scenario where he doesn't make it to the wildcard playoffs, but that's very unlikely. But at least, Ben, they're competing for a seed in the playoffs. If Red wins, he's guaranteed of at least a high seed in wildcard, and maybe in a bizarre scenario, he might even make it directly to the playoffs.
That would be pretty sweet.
So if you guys are starting to get confused right now, we basically have two playoffs. We have the normal playoffs and we have the wildcard playoffs. You have to advance via the wildcard playoffs to get into the normal playoffs. It sounds very complicated, but it won't be all that complicated, and you guys will see more about it in the upcoming weeks. Ben, I can't wait to show the guys the playoffs, because then finally we're not playing regular season anymore, Ben. We're playing playoffs. That is the moment when champions like LeBron James rise up and play fantastic Starcraft or basketball.
Every game counts at the North American Star League, Kev, but the postseason is what it really is what matters most. You can go 5-4 or 5-3 or 4-4 and just barely qualify.
Did you get there?
But then you're there, and in the postseason, if you win, that's when you get paid, man.
It's same in the NBA, man. This year, like the Bulls finished first in that division, and I think the Sixers were the 8th seed in the playoffs, and they managed to upset the Bulls.
That's because of Mo Williams.
Mo Williams doesn't play for the Sixers, man.
Oh, I thought you said the Clippers.
No, I said the Sixers.
My bad.
The Clippers did win against the Grizzlies, I believe. Ben is getting a little bit sweaty lately because we have a long time bet running.
Man, I'm actually really starting to sweat this because, like, as much as I hate on LeBron, I have to admit that he's playing some pretty good basketball.
We'll see, man. Let's focus on StarCraft for now. We see Select going for the no-gas fast expand build, and it was a hedge first opening over here for Red. It is cross-map Antigua. Ben, you are the Zerg player over here among the two of us. Tell us, what can we expect?
Well, Rhett likes to play big macro style, Kev. I mean, he is the forefather of the game of drones, as we all know, so I do expect something like that. Although, recently, I believe it was actually at MLG, Rhett was doing a lot of roach banding stuff. Am I misspeaking? I don't think that I am.
I don't know, man. You casted the tournament. I didn't.
I know, but there was a lot of Zergs
I was on the
there.
other side of the world.
Actually, I think it was Stefano that was doing the roach banding stuff, not Rhett. But we'll see exactly what's going to come from him. He's a guy that really stuck to Mutiling Bane for a long time when the Infestor style was coming prevalent. And now that Terrans are skipping tanks and getting so many medevacs, Mutiling Bane's becoming much, much better. Or I guess it's coming back, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So I do think that it's very possible that we'll see some of that. And Rhett is one of the best Mutalisk players in the game of StarCraft.
You know, Ben, as a neutral observer, I prefer the Mutaling style in TVZ over the Ling Infestor. I know Ling Infestor can be fun. Amazing fungals are awesome to watch, are great to cast. But in general, I feel the game is on a played on a higher pace when it's Mutaling.
Oh yeah, it's a harder way to play, and it's like high. I don't want to say it's high risk, high reward, because it really is not high risk. It still comes down to how you execute, but it does reward the more mechanically sound player, right? It's just if you're fast, if you're smart, if you make the right decisions, you're gonna benefit much more so than if you just sit back. And just to build on what you were saying, that Infestor play, it really promotes passiveness or passivity, whereas the Mutalisk style, it forces you to make something happen, right? And that's why it's so much more fun. It gives you all the initiative.
I think we're going to have a Blue Flame Hellion opening over here out of Select. I do want to clear something up, by the way, guys. Since our last game was live, you guys might think, like, is this game live again? Is Red really playing in the middle of the night while he's in Sweden? No. This game has been played perhaps yesterday, perhaps the day before, I'm not sure, but most of the time within a 24-hour time span. We do see Blue Flame Hellions being researched right now by Select. Of course, that was not a very hard call after 2 factories were going up. So that's an interesting opening, and certainly since Red is going for 3 bases that quick, I like it. We'll see what Select is going to do with that. But yes, guys, don't worry. Red is having a good night of sleep right now. He advanced from the groups of DreamHack, played very well. And don't worry, this is not a live game.
It's going to be a tough defense for Red. He's spreading himself out already. He is working on that crease spread. He's got a lot of queens, 4 queens and a ton of active tumors. So connecting that third base is the first and most important thing for him to do right now. He's also going to go ahead and start building some spine crawlers. That'll help. But the danger of these Blue Flame Hellions isn't the heads-up engagement. It's the risk of the run-by. And when Rhett has to defend 3 spaces and not just 1, he becomes so much more susceptible to that kind of play.
Well, let's hope that Red doesn't suddenly decides to transfer a lot of drones to his third base, because that would be the wrong call. Red is doing very well on the worker count right now, Ben. SeleCT is obviously cutting a few corners here and there. Doesn't have a lot of workers at all. He's 29 workers right now. Even though Hellions are not that, of course, not that expensive, still he had to drop the factories, he had to mine gas, which meant he was mining fewer minerals for a long time. He's down 17 workers, Ben. This is not just an opening where you can contain his Zerg a little bit. SeleCT has to do damage, and he's also bound to do some damage. These are Blue Flame Hellions. They're supposed to kill stuff.
Red is playing so blind. He doesn't know this is coming, and he's got 6 queens, and that is all he's got. And here come those Hellions for the first time being revealed. One of them dies immediately. Second one is... Oh, Red reacting very quickly.
He's going to light him up.
Oh, and there's going to be a major drone roast. Immediately SeleCT gets 10 worker kills. But Red can afford this.
Yeah,
SeleCT cut a lot of SCVs with this opening.
SeleCT needs more, Ben. He's going to lose most of these Hellions. The new queens are just ridiculously good in situations like this. We see Hellions running into the third down as well. We see they got a lot of drone kills, and they're still not done. Beautiful multi-prong harass by SeleCT.
15 drones down, but that's still, it's just even. And SeleCT does not have a third orbital to fall back on. He's just on 2 bases. He's building a third command center now.
Yep. Just dropped it.
But Red has pretty much stabilized. He's already on layer. He's going infester tech.
But I don't think this is done yet, Ben. I think we're going to see 1 or 2 more of these little run-bys. We have 5 Hellions on the map right now, so why not? Well, one of them is very low on HP. It doesn't really count.
I'm not sure that it's going to work as well this time, though. Red's going to... Well, Banelings aren't great against Blue Flame. They're okay. If they can connect, but it's hard to connect, especially when they don't have speed.
Well, one thing that is pretty great is Creep Threat. He's gonna scan. Those are not too much you want to take out. You might be able to take out most of these drones over here on the third base of Red.
He's gonna get a couple of drone kills, but Red's queens are here, and they're gonna pick off one Hellion. Oh, the Banelings almost connecting, and that does force SeleCT to disengage there.
I don't think SeleCT would have minded all that much if all those Banelings would have blew up on his Hellions.
Well, those are the only Hellions he has, Kev, and he would have lost all of his ability to harass. So I can understand him wanting to keep those alive.
Yeah, that's true.
He needs them for the map control as he secures this third base.
Red, despite losing 19 drones so far, Ben, is still on a ridiculous amount of 65 drones 10 minutes into this game.
Check out that creep spread. So many active tumors going down. That's 12 tumors, 14 tumors at once, and Hive starting at 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
While losing 19 drones. Are you serious?
I mean, it's all he's built. He literally built like 12 Zerglings, if that, and the rest have been all drones. That's why he is the king of the north. Actually, I think that's supposed to be either Naniwa or Thorazane.
Yeah.
But Red is certainly a contender.
I'd like to give that title to Naniwa, though.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. The Swede.
You see these Hellions engaging these queens in the middle of the map. I love that Red has active tumors on both sides, not just like in one way, but wow, this is going so ridiculously quick with so many tumors at once. Of course, your creep threat is going to be 10 times quicker, and he still has 4 queens. Ben, at this rate, at the 13-minute mark, Red is going to have creep and SeleCT's natural.
He's going so very, very fast with it, just like you said, Kev. He's got that full 3-base economy. Hasn't taken a 4th yet, but I do expect we'll see it soon. 5 infestors on the way, continuing to add on these upgrades, and there's that new base going down. I really can't imagine that this is going to stay this way forever, because with all due respect, I actually think that SeleCT didn't play a bad game at all so far, but this already seems like he's in a hopeless position. He's going to scan right now. He's going to find a lot of these tumors, but with how long is it really going to slow Red down? I don't think all that long. He has to be careful with those links, though. These are Blue Flame Hellions. You can't just run a few links in. Red still hasn't gotten that Baneling speed upgrade, but with infestors, it doesn't matter that much. All you need is one good fungal, and then your Banelings are guaranteed to connect. Wow. SeleCT's walling off outside of his third base, and he's trying to transition into Marine tank.
He's already down 30 supply, Ben, and it's not because Red has been making a lot of units. The opposite is true. Red has been making a ton of drones. He's attacking very hard. He's getting 2-2 on the way already. He's researching adrenal glands, even dropping the Ultralisk Cavern already, and all this in 13 minutes. And excellent creep spread.
Yeah, great play here by Red thus far. He's continuing to upgrade.
You know what I admire so much from players like Red when I watch them? It all seems so effortlessly, you know?
Like these tumors root, he might be able to block the 4th.
First, Bird Infestor is on the way.
And just in time, the creep spread blocks that command center from landing. That's so frustrating for poor SeleCT. And Red's creep, as you said, is making its way right up towards the natural of SeleCT by about 13 minutes. Galleon's going to come forward and try to do something about it, but they get
pretty serious army already from Reds. Going to drop a fungal or 2. We do have some Marines and tanks backing up. We have 4 siege tanks on the map for SeleCT right now.
Oh man, tough spot to be in.
Yeah, where are you going to expand now, SeleCT?
Yeah, seriously. Maybe bottom right, but that's going to be very tough to defend.
Maybe with some depots and a bunker behind it.
Rhett's doing a great job just controlling the map, man. Map control gives you so much, you know, comfort. Now, one thing that I have to criticize SeleCT for, he hasn't built a single medevac, man. And look how there's like nothing back at home.
That's true. He hasn't tried to drop it all. He did dodge one fungal there, so that's a small victory. A couple of Marines are going to try to take out a couple of these tumors, but it's just so hard to play Terran from this position. Look at all these tumors all the time, Ben. SeleCT is never going to be able to take this base.
Yeah, Queen's going to come forward, take a couple of tank shots, but they're pretty buff. They're not going to die from that.
It's funny that Queens can absorb so much damage. Queens can do it and do a lot of things, but there's not really anything that Queens can do.
They're not going to. They don't have that KO power, but they've got a good chin.
Yeah. Like, they're not K1 fighters, but they are like judokas. They can take a lot, and they can deal out just a little, bit by bit.
Rhett has maxed out. Kev SeleCT still at 130 supply, and he is precariously far forward. He's got a couple of very exposed tanks. Ultra is starting to come forward as well. And as you predicted, it's just impossible for SeleCT to really secure a fourth base in the face of this excellent creep.
If I was SeleCT, I would just try to fall back right now, because you really can't afford to lose that many units. Red's economy is already insane, so even if you start trading, well, yeah, he's just going to mine from a little bit further, but this is not a good position to look at this, man. How can you comfortably spend like this when you're surrounded by creep? This feels like an AI mission.
Just waiting for the lava to come up. Red says, "All right, if you're gonna land that beast, we're gonna fight." Lings and Ultras and Infestors and Banelings all just kind of pouring through, and
well, Red SeleCT definitely does have a backup plan here. A lot of siege tank, a couple of marauders as well, even though these tanks are even taking a lot of damage. And Red still has 170 supply. Wow, is Red gonna be able to take the game right here?
I think so, man. If he's not going to take the game, he's going to do irrecoverable amounts of damage. SeleCT's entire army just taking massive amounts of damage. Queen's even going to drop some transfuse on an Ultra. Not going to keep him alive forever, but going to keep him alive long enough to do a good bit more damage.
This one Infestor has been here like throughout the entire game. Has 200 energy. Has been hugging that Rex for like the past 6 minutes in this game. It's kind of funny.
And so SeleCT in such a tough spot. Rhett still maxed out. SeleCT at just 93 supply.
God, Red played so good, and he made it look so effortless. Like, how hard did this really look, man? Do you want to tell me that you can play like Red just did? No, you're gonna say no, and that's indeed the way it is. But how easy did this look?
It did look pretty damn effortless. He just slowly pushed that creep out.
Red is just like, okay, I'm just doing my thing, just making a lot of drones. You can kill a few, I'll just make even more drones, and as long as my creep spread is good, I'm gonna be more than fine. Just absolutely effortless, flawless play by Red nearly.
It all does kind of come back to that Queen, though, man. He was able to just build Queens, a handful of Lings, and deal with the Blue Flame Hellions. And that's really, the whole story. SeleCT invested in that early aggression, did not get anything from it, and now, of course, he's suffering punishment.
Fungals landing by Red over here. More Ultras making their way into the natural. A couple of Fungals going down as well. We do have a few tanks left for SeleCT in good positions, but it just doesn't really matter, man. SeleCT is falling apart. Red is all over the place. SeleCT is finally trying to drop, though. If we can criticize SeleCT about that, is that he never really tried to drop.
That is very true, and I do feel like it's the biggest thing that he's done wrong here. But at the same time, his opening just wasn't really conducive to a double factory Blue Flame Hellions. There wasn't a whole lot of room left over for that starport.
But I do feel, now I'm thinking back of a game that we saw back then on the Intel Extreme Masters between Violet and the Muslim on the Shadow Temple. You remember? That suddenly the Muslim felt like he lost that game on dual side, even though he should have won. Like, first he was ahead, then he lost, and then he did a lot of damage with those Blue Flame Hellions, and he felt like, hey, maybe I'm onto something here. Let's try that again on Shadow Temple. And he was all over the place with Blue Flame Hellions. First with run-bys, then with medevacs as well. And you make the problem 3 times as big for Zerg, because suddenly you're going to have to worry about your main base as well. Now, all that Red ever had to worry about was this little corner, which basically allows entrance to both your natural and your third base. So I felt maybe if he could have sneaked in a starport and a medevac, he could have kept Red much more busy than he actually did.
That's a great point. All Red had to do was defend that little, I don't know, creep tumor cove there that he had. And SeleCT never really reaching any point that he had extra mobility. But
still, beautiful game by Red. I really like the way that Red played that.
Absolutely great play by Red. Looks so easy, but
it's not.
And to make it look that easy against SeleCT, wow.
Yeah, then you know that someone is playing some really excellent StarCraft.
Excellent gameplay there by Red. Short commercial break, guys, and then we're back with game number 2, Red versus SeleCT.